to for days, months, or years on end. Most people connect with music in some way, yet don't really understand what it takes to be in a band. There are a lot of expenses that go into it. First of all, most independent bands that are just starting out have to pay out of pocket for a majority of their things, whether it's gas to a show, food, which on the road is extremely difficult to prepare considering that there's no ovens, microwaves, or any other kitchen appliance inside of a van, which is what most bands tour in. And booking agents, managers, whatever else comes into play can make it extremely difficult for bands to first start out. And without a proper fan base, these bands can tend to fall out of place and really just stop existing overall because of the fact that they're not getting support from people. Being in a band is an extremely difficult thing to do, and not a lot of people realize that. When someone hears the term starving artist, they really don't necessarily understand what that means, but it becomes more and more apparent, especially in recent times. It's becoming more and more of an expense really than a career for most people. And in order for people to get to be in a band, they need to start preparing properly. And a lot of bands don't really understand how to do that when they first start out. And I think one of the most important things to discuss is the fact that local bands need support in order to get to where they need to be in order for them to make music a career for themselves. Even when bands are larger, they tend to have a lot of expenses that most people don't understand, whether it's printing the CDs, printing the merchandise, booking agents, paying venues, whatever else the case may be. There are definitely a lot of expenses that go into being in a band, and therefore it makes it very difficult for people to support themselves on a musician's salary. An example of this is with a band called Pamplemousse, who recently went on a tour, and the tour itself cost them $147,000 and 802 cents, but yet they only made $135,983, and they therefore lost $11,819 from doing what would get them the money in the first place. So I'm going to break down the expenses for you. $26,450 went to production expenses such as equipment rental, lights, lighting board, van rental, etc. $11,816 went to gas, airfare, which is flying, obviously, lighting, etc. $5,445 went to insurance, just in case someone got kicked in the head while they were playing. $48,094 went to salaries and per diems, and per diems are $20 a day for each band and crew member that was on the tour, and they were able to buy food. And if you've ever eaten out at a restaurant, whether it was McDonald's or Wendy's, you know how expensive that can be. $21,945 went to manufacturing merchandise, and it actually does cost a lot to print the merchandise, even though they tend to make that back. $16,463 went to commissions, so that would mean really for the booking agency or for whoever else is not necessarily in the band, but helps the band get to where they need to be. Next, I'll break down the income for you. $97,519 came from ticket sales. So 72% of tour income came from that. And the largest show that they played was over 1,000 people in Los Angeles. So, but even then, on a 28-day tour, you figure that's 1,000 people, even $10 a ticket. That's $10,000 a night, $280,000, and then we took home $97,000 of that. Really not that much. $29,714 went to merch sales. Well, came from merch sales, So that would be CDs, etc. That was 22% of their income. And then finally, $8,750 came from a sponsorship from Lenovo, which is a manufacturing company for music equipment. Now, that band is rather large in terms of their size, especially for an independent band. We're talking about 150,000 fans, which on Facebook, which is a really decent, way to measure a band's success. And many independent bands bands have less than 1,000 likes on Facebook, and that kind of gives you a relation to their pay scale as well as their fan base. So another band also actually went on tour recently, and they were called Oh Sleeper, and they are a smaller independent band with actually their Facebook page does have less than 1,000 likes. So that kind of gives you an idea of how tiny they are. And they also broke down their expenses. Each night they only made $300, but then that really got broken down even further. So they make $300 in merch, and 25% of that goes to the venue, which is a big expense. So $75 out of their total pickup for the night, that leaves them $225. Unfortunately, I wish I could say it stops there, but it doesn't. $75 is, like I said, the merch venue retail that they get, and then that's net profit for the band, which would make it $225. Then their manager gets 15% of that. So $75 times 15, their manager gets $11.75 of the merch cut a night. So then we're looking at $63.75 in total for that. And then so the $300 gross would be the guarantee, and then $45 because the manager gets a 15% cut, so it's subtracting that. Minus $30 would be a booking agent as well. And then the average gas bill is around $150 a night. Unfortunately, they only get 15 miles to the gallon highway and then 10 when it's not on the highway. So, living in a 15-passenger van is definitely an expense. So after the gas bill, we're looking at $75. After that, they have 6 people and then a merch guy. And obviously booking agent, that doesn't go on tour with them though. So they each get $10 per diem, which for the other band was $20, so that gets cut in half for them. $10 a day for food, like I said, really is nothing, especially when you're a normal sized person. So that's $60. Now we were at 75 minus 16, and that's 15, and then we have that's the total net profit for the night. And then so for the entire night, we're looking at $78.75 for the entire band out of the $300 net gross. So they're each getting $13.75 a night after driving, working all day, as opposed to an 8-hour job where, even minimum wage, you'd be making $50, $60 a day. These guys are looking at maybe $100 a week if they're lucky. So living on that is nearly impossible. So in order to help them and to help people who are in unknown bands, independent bands, etc., the best way to do that is to support them in any way possible. The best way to do this is even if there are a lot of local shows that come around, this area as well as many other areas in the world. So going to a show, they're usually $5-10 to get in. That's a really good idea, and that puts money in their pockets. Buying a T-shirt, a CD, etc. If that's not feasible, then doing something even as simple as going on Facebook and sharing a page, and sharing their page and spreading the word about their music can help get them to where they need to be, and will help other people, learn about them and hopefully spread the word about their music. And if that's done, people will start to achieve their dreams. And if it's not, then, independent bands are slowly going to become a dying fashion. And that's a really sad thing because every band starts out independently, Kiss, Nirvana, etc. All these famous bands are eventually going to die out. Gene Simmons is not going to live forever, and obviously Kurt Cobain didn't.
That's a crap.
It's a misfortune, but like I said, unfortunately those bands are not going to be around forever, and we need new ones to come into the scene and take over and dominate and make new music for us, because the world without music would definitely be a terrible one. So hopefully more people will take to the suggestion and they will be able to support local bands in any way, shape, or form possible, even if it's not financially. So thank you.